David just went live on Instagram after weeks of silence, and what he said left everyone speechless. For months, rumors swirled, screenshots spread, and theories exploded online, but no one expected this. The moment his face appeared, the chat froze. Over 50,000 people tuned in within seconds, waiting for answers that never seemed like they'd come. He looked tired, almost broken, sitting in the dark with his phone propped up against a cup. You could hear the echo of people spamming comments, begging for him to explain what really happened with Celeste. Then, without warning, he took a deep breath and said, "I can't keep hiding." Those 5 words changed everything.
What came next wasn't a denial, wasn't even an excuse. It was something in between. A confession wrapped in confusion, part guilt, part pain. Viewers knew immediately this wasn't just another influencer apology. This was the moment everything shifted. The silence finally cracked.
People thought David was about to dodge questions again. Instead, he started naming names. Within the first minute, he hinted that some people close to me know what really happened. That single line sent shockwaves across the internet. Suddenly, old faces from his past started trending again. Neo, the producer, even his own brother. But what really caught attention wasn't who he mentioned, it was how he said it. Calm, almost rehearsed, as if he'd been preparing for this exact moment. Every sentence carried double meaning, every pause heavy enough to break through the noise. By the time he said, "I didn't hurt anyone, but I didn't stop it either," chat exploded. No one knew if it was guilt or manipulation, only that the truth was finally bleeding through. If you thought this live would clear his name, think again. What David revealed next might have sealed his fate. So here's the question everyone's asking, was that live his redemption arc or his final mistake? Because depending on who you believe, that stream was either a cry for help or the biggest self-own of 2020. Drop your thoughts below. What did you hear in his voice? Regret or strategy? As the live went on, David's tone kept shifting. One second, he was emotional, apologizing to the people who believed in me. The next, he was cryptic, saying they already knew what I'd say before I even said it. Some viewers claim he was being watched, that he looked off screen more than once, like someone else was in the room. It's that unease that's keeping the internet divided. Was David being honest, or was this all part of a bigger plan to rewrite the story before the next headline hit? Either way, something about that night didn't feel staged. It felt final. At one point in the stream, David pulled out his phone and showed something no one saw coming, a screenshot from his old iCloud backups. It showed messages between him and Celeste from months before she vanished. The timestamps matched the exact week investigators said she stopped posting. His voice cracked when he said she wasn't supposed to be there that night. Fans instantly started screen recording, zooming in on every word before he deleted it seconds later. But it was too late. Clips spread like wildfire, confirming that Celeste had stayed in his rental house far longer than he originally admitted. "I didn't lie," he whispered. "I just didn't say everything." That one sentence flipped the narrative. The chat turned from shock to chaos. People weren't just accusing him anymore, they were connecting dots the police hadn't even confirmed yet. And that's when David's live suddenly froze. The screen went black. He was gone. Minutes after the stream vanished, clips of that moment started flooding every corner of social media. Some people claimed the live ended because of bad connection. Others were convinced someone made it end. What made it creepier? The final frame before it cut off showed David looking past the camera and whispering, "They're here." That 2-second whisper became the most analyzed audio of the night. Reddit users slowed it down, enhanced the sound, and compared it to previous streams. They swear they heard footsteps before the screen went black. No one can confirm what happened next, but insiders said Instagram staff flagged the live under active investigation. By morning, the hashtag #TheyHere was trending worldwide. Some took it as paranoia, others as proof. But one thing's clear, David's silence didn't end with that live. It only grew louder. And if what came next is true, it means he might not have been lying after all. The next day, private investigator Steve, who's been following this case from day one, posted a cryptic update on X. "If you watched that live," he wrote, "you already know what comes next." Within hours, fans started comparing the background of David's stream with photos from his Hollywood Hills rental. The furniture matched, the lamp, even the wall art. That detail reignited theories that the live wasn't random, it was a signal. Some believed David was trying to lead investigators to something left behind. One fan pointed out that the angle of the shot perfectly framed a painting that had been removed in later videos, saying, "He was showing us what's missing." Could that live have been a coded confession? A silent SOS? No one knows. But when police cars were spotted near that same rental 2 days later, the internet exploded again. Maybe he wanted to be found. Maybe he needed to be. Then came the biggest twist. Neo reappeared online. After months of deleting posts and staying quiet, he suddenly dropped an Instagram story that said he wasn't supposed to say anything. No tag, no context, just those 6 words on a black screen. Within minutes, his account went private. Screenshots spread instantly. Fans connected it to David's final words on the live, arguing that they might have included Neo himself. Some people even believe Neo was in the same room during that stream, coaching what David could and couldn't say. A few sharp-eyed viewers noticed a reflection in the window, a shadow that didn't move when David did. The idea that Neo could still be controlling the narrative sent chills across the internet. If true, it means David's confession might have been staged under pressure. But if false, it paints Neo as a ghost of guilt, haunting every word David tried to take back. As theories kept spreading, a new video surfaced, footage reportedly taken outside David's rental the same night of the live. It showed a black SUV idling at the curb, headlights flickering like someone was waiting. The clip only lasted 12 seconds, but that was enough for fans to start piecing timelines together. Investigators later confirmed that a vehicle matching that description was seen on nearby surveillance cameras hours before the live began. Coincidence? Maybe, but many online believe that car wasn't random at all, it was watching. One user even claimed the SUV belonged to someone connected to Neo's production team. Every piece of this story feels like a puzzle that keeps rearranging itself, but that night, the whispers, the black screen, the waiting car made one thing certain: David wasn't safe, online or off. And what's terrifying is that maybe neither was the truth. Just when everyone thought the chaos had peaked, a new discovery flipped everything again. A digital forensics page claimed to have recovered fragments from David's deleted iCloud backup. Inside it were half-saved video files labeled truthpart1.mov and finalcut.mov. Neither file could be opened completely, but the previews were haunting. Frames showing Celeste's silhouette, a Tesla logo reflected in a window, and what looked like David's hand reaching toward the camera. Almost overnight, those leaked thumbnails spread across TikTok and X. Some said they were edited, others swore metadata proved they were real. Whatever the case, the damage was done. The live wasn't the finale, it was the prologue. If those files existed, it meant David planned to speak long before that night, and maybe someone stopped him from finishing. Because the fail-mams weren't random, they looked like a message. Truth. Final cut, 2 words that sound a lot like goodbye. Hours later, David's Spotify profile quietly updated. No announcement, no promo. A new single had appeared, simply titled July 29. That date, of course, matched the day Celeste was last seen alive. Fans pressed play expecting music. Instead, they got 43 seconds of eerie silence, broken only by a faint whisper at the end. It wasn't supposed to end here. That upload sent shockwaves through every platform. Was it a confession disguised as art or another cryptic stunt? Within minutes, Spotify took it down, citing copyright discrepancies, but screenshots and rips flooded Reddit before deletion could stop them. That's when his remaining supporters started pushing a new narrative. Maybe David was trying to tell the truth his own way. Maybe the music was his final testimony. What do you think? Was July 29 his cry for help or his digital confession? Comment below, because this story's only getting darker. Following that mysterious upload, journalists began reaching out to people who had worked with David during his early career. One producer, who asked to stay anonymous, said something chilling. He always talked about disappearing once the art spoke for him. When pressed on what that meant, the producer added, he said when people finally understood the lyrics, he'd be long gone. That quote reignited every rumor about his off-the-grid plan. Remember the interview where he joked about retiring to an island with no Wi-Fi? That wasn't just talk anymore, and investigators now think he might have actually purchased remote land weeks before vanishing. So maybe this wasn't about guilt or innocence at all. Maybe it was about escape. Because if the song, the live, and the whispers all connect, David wasn't just confessing, he was signing off. Then came the unexpected curveball. Celeste's family finally spoke out. In an emotional statement, her mother said she'd received an anonymous envelope containing a USB drive. On it was a single video file named Her Light. The footage showed Celeste singing softly in what appeared to be David's old studio. Behind her, faint writing on the wall read, "Keep your sound mind." Investigators confirmed the handwriting matched David's. That phrase, a direct reference to his first viral post of 2025, tied everything full circle. Was it a message of guilt, faith, or farewell? Nobody knows. What's certain is that the live wasn't random. It was a countdown. Each post, each clip, each whisper built toward this revelation. David may not have been defending himself at all. He was preparing the world for a truth he couldn't say out loud, and now the internet's finally starting to listen. Days after the USB surfaced, Celeste's old TikTok drafts leaked. Inside were clips that seemed harmless at first, lip syncs, studio moments, random selfies, but one short video stood out, her sitting in a dimly lit room, whispering, "Sometimes truth feels like a trap." Fans noticed something eerie in the background, the same red Tesla key fob seen in David's previous live streams. People began wondering if Celeste had recorded that draft while inside his rental. The timestamps lined up too perfectly. Digital analysts even claimed the metadata matched the same Wi-Fi router linked to D4vd's address. Coincidence or confession? That's the debate splitting the internet. Every discovery feels like another breadcrumb leading back to the same story. She knew something she wasn't meant to share, and maybe David knew she left proof. Because if those videos were hidden drafts, then someone, maybe him, kept them buried on purpose. Until now. Then came the sound that changed everything. The full audio file from David's deleted Truth Part 1.move finally surfaced. You could hear muffled breathing, faint static, and his voice saying, "They'll twist this no matter what." It was raw, unfiltered, and too personal to be faked. The tone wasn't angry, it was scared. Experts confirmed it was his real voice based on waveform analysis, and the file's timestamp placed it just 2 days before Celeste's disappearance. That detail sent shockwaves across online forums, especially since it proves he recorded something before everything unraveled. The audio ends abruptly with a single line, "If you see this, it means I'm gone." That sentence hit millions like a punch to the gut. Gone could mean hiding, gone could mean running, or maybe something darker. Whatever the meaning, the world realized David wasn't just reacting to the storm, he'd predicted it. Then, in the middle of all the digital chaos, a verified user posted something wild: flight data showing a private plane leaving from Burbank Airport the night after David's live. The passenger list redacted, the destination unlisted. But one name caught attention: David R. That was enough for fans to spiral. Some claimed it had to be him. Others said it was planted evidence to mislead investigators. But here's what's confirmed. The flight landed on a small island off the coast of Belize, a location that eerily fits his earlier island with no internet prediction. Suddenly, that old joke about vanishing didn't feel so funny. If he really fled, that means the live, the song, the silence, it was all planned. A digital disappearing act, and if that's true, it might go down as one of the most elaborate vanishing stories of the decade. Disbelief or design? By now, the internet was split in two. Half of the world believed David ran because he was guilty. The other half thought he escaped because he was silenced. Both sides agreed on one thing: this story wasn't over. And that's when something surreal happened. David's verified Fortnite account, the one that had been private for months, suddenly reactivated. The username changed to Afterlife07. His status? It's not what you think. Within hours, screenshots flooded Twitter, and players claimed to have seen the account online for less than 5 minutes before disappearing again. Whether it was David or someone using his login, no one knows. But the timing couldn't be coincidence. It was like he was reaching out one last time, using the only platform left untouched. One cryptic status, one final message, and if that really was him, he's still watching. As days passed, digital detectives uncovered one last breadcrumb, a Dropbox folder tied to an email used by David's old management. Inside was a single PDF titled "For the Record." The document's metadata showed it was last modified the same day as the Instagram Live. It read like a journal entry, not a statement. "They told me to stay quiet, but quiet never saved anyone." Those words reignited every debate online. Was he warning his fans? Exposing something bigger? The final page of that file had only one sentence typed in bold: "You can't cancel what's already gone." People froze reading that. It didn't sound like guilt, it sounded like surrender. And that's what made it chilling. Because maybe David wasn't trying to clear his name, maybe he was saying goodbye to it. Now, months later, nothing feels settled. The live remains deleted, the files remain encrypted, the accounts stay silent, but whispers still echo in every corner of the internet. Fragments of voice, screenshots, timestamps, each piece forming a shadow of a story that never got to finish itself. Some people still believe David's alive, watching quietly from that island. Others think the silence is proof he paid the ultimate price for what he tried to say. Either way, his final message lingers. It wasn't supposed to end here. And maybe it hasn't, because as new leaks keep surfacing, one truth keeps resurfacing louder than the rest. We may never really know what happened that night, but one thing's certain: D4vd's story didn't end on that live. It started there. And that's the story so far, from the deleted lives to the leaked files to the whispers that won't stop spreading. David's case keeps evolving faster than anyone can contain it, but what do you think really happened? Was he exposing the truth or running from it? Let's talk about it below. Drop your theory in the comments, and if you caught any detail we missed, share it. Because in stories like this, every frame matters, and sometimes the internet sees what investigators don't. Make sure you're subscribed. This story's still unfolding, and the next update might change everything. This video is based on publicly available information, speculation, and commentary. None of the events, names, or connections should be interpreted as verified fact until confirmed by official sources. The goal is to document how online communities are interpreting the D4vd situation, not to make definitive claims about guilt, innocence, or ongoing investigations.